Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. Today I'm very honored to have with me a lady who's you're an inspiration to me. And the short time we've gotten to know each other, you're just amazing. You're an inspirational speaker. I think you're probably going to be an author someday if you haven't written a book already. And you used to be a policewoman and just an amazing woman. And a survivor, a cancer survivor. So let's talk about you and your background and where you're from. Are you from the Bay Area?
Yes, I was born and raised here in Santa Clara.
That's
I
awesome.
went to St. Francis High School and went off to San Diego for a little bit and came back and finished my degrees at Menlo College.
So you went to like San Diego State or something for a while? And
I attempted there, but in those days it was so impacted that everybody seemed to end up at the JC colleges just to get our credits.
everybody wanted to be in San Diego, right?
Absolutely, I can't wait to go back.
So, and then you had a very long career as a policewoman. Do you want to tell us about that?
Sure. I, like I said, I graduated with a communications and mass media degree from Menlo College, and I always actually wanted to be an attorney. I love negotiating, love talking things out, and I received an internship with the district attorney's office in Santa Clara. And at that point, I was offered a paid internship under the administration that was there at that time, and they put me on a homicide case with another investigator to work. And they never heard of anybody having a paid internship, so it was quite interesting. So
And now they're all have to be paid internships in California, right? So there's a new law that you have to pay your interns. So
okay,
which I
you just taught me something
yeah,
I did
which
not
I
know.
totally believe in. I've always paid my interns something.
I
and
think
so
it's great.
It's a good thing, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Because we're bringing much value to the table.
Right.
So
district
energy.
attorney's office.
So I was at the district attorney's office, and when I was working this case, I reflected a lot. I was working with the attorneys and the Bureau of Investigations, which is the police department within.
And this is when you wanted to be a lawyer.
Right. And the BOI, the Bureau of Investigations, is the police department within the district attorney's office. And a lot of people don't realize that they do have their own law enforcement agency within. And so that is who I was working with on this homicide case. And I really thought to myself, gosh, I think I would rather do something like this. And so a job opening came up as an assistant investigator. I applied for it. I got the job, and then did everything I needed to do.
You had to go through all the training.
At the police
boot
academy.
Camp or
Yes.
police academy camp.
Police academy, yes.
Yeah.
Over at Evergreen College. It was South Bay Training Consortium.
Wow. And so how long did that take? A couple of years or?
There is two different programs there. There's an extensive program, and then there's an intensive program. The intensive program is, your typical 40, 50 hours a week. But because I was working and I was newly married at the time, I needed my job, and I was already hired on with the DA's office as an assistant investigator. So I would work full time, and then I would go 4 nights a week and on weekends. So it took me 11 months to get through because I did the extensive program.
Wow. And I'm going to pull up the first slide here. How long were you a police officer?
Almost 20 years.
Down at the bottom there, you look at you, the power gun there. It looks like a rifle or a semi-automatic.
AR-14.
And then you had some life changes. So you had
Yes.
babies, you worked a lot. And how long on the force again?
I was a couple months shy of 20 years.
20 years. And you look so young right now. You look like you're 20 right now. So
Well, thank you very much.
So you had some changes. And tell us about these photos here.
It's almost an outer body experience, actually. The photo in the middle, I battled my weight my whole life. The photo in the middle, my son right there is, a few months old. And I was a size 22.
Adorable photo.
And I had the photo up in the right-hand corner. I weighed about 265 pounds. So through the years, you can see I had some major life transformations. And I had a couple defining moments and lost over 140 pounds through that time period.
So you look fantastic.
Thank you.
So how long did it take you to lose that weight?
It took me over a year,
Okay.
about a year and a half.
Okay.
It was completely changing my lifestyle. There was no drugs involved. There was nothing but
Workout,
diet.
and you look great. And your
Determination.
life was really stressful. You were sexual assault unit was the police department division.
I worked in many different units. I ended my career in sexual assault unit, which was definitely where I found my niche.
That's wild. My sister's second husband was on the bomb unit, but that's a story for another day. And he was there almost 20 years. Long story. So you didn't start off there. You started off as an investigator with the DA and worked your way around. And for women who are dealing with a stressful life, you actually have a program to help them. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I work with women many times, and I do a lot of public speaking. And it's really about, there's two different ones. One is if you're looking at weight loss, the dream body formula. And everyone says to me, how on earth could you have weighed 265 pounds when they look at me?
And you look at the photo and you're like, okay.
Right.
It doesn't look like you.
It does not look like me.
But it does at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is me. And, everybody goes through life experiences. And I found that I truly was addicted to food. And I understand what addiction means. I would go to bed at night thinking about what I was going to eat the next morning, to wondering what I would look like in a bikini. And
it's hard with a job like that to have regular eating hours, probably too, and to
It is.
plan regular meals and eat healthier because you're on the go. And sometimes you probably can't even get a meal because you may be investigating something, right? And you don't
Correct.
get to pick when.
And you also get very emotionally attached to, at least I'll speak for myself, I got very emotionally attached to the cases I worked, and I wanted to be there for the people I worked with any time of day.
So as a 50-year-old woman myself, I know it's hard. Like sometimes you get off work at 8 o'clock and then it's like you're eating late. And it's okay if you're up till 1 or 2, but if you eat and then go right to bed, that's really detrimental to your health.
That's right. And
if
it's
you're not
all
getting the
about
exercise.
changing. You literally have to, number one, have that defining moment and know that, okay, from here on out, I'm going to change. And it's determination, and it is a constant lifestyle. It is not, I'm going to lose 20 pounds because I have my family reunion or a class reunion coming up. It is, I'm going to do this because it's going to give me longevity in life.
And I'm behind on the slides, so I'm going to bring up, it's called your dream, let's bring the next slide up. It's your Dream Body Boot Camp again, is the
Right.
program.
So
and this is you again, same
is
photo
me
there
again.
on the left,
Right.
different photo here, and then there you are. And again, how many months did it take?
It was over a year, and I had to take time off of work because obviously I could not go back to work looking like that and running after somebody or getting into a pursuit with somebody if I needed to. And what's very interesting too, is I want to say, is our society
We can pull that slide down too.
is so judgmental, and our society judges people on the way they look. And we often say, oh, she's beautiful. We've said it already today, and it really comes from within. And you have to be able to look in the mirror and look at the image in the mirror and be able to talk back to that person and not just the reflection. Because so often we are judged on how we look, and those pictures you just showed.
Well, and it's so interesting because I remember, it's like, oh yeah, we're Northern California girls, not Southern California. It used to be that, Southern California girls are Hollywood, they're more vain, but it's the image is really important in Silicon Valley now.
It
really
is.
important.
Well, and your image is your brand. Growing up, I was not allowed to leave the house in sweats. We were not allowed to wear
Right,
tank
my mother's
tops.
still mortified if she sees me going to the grocery store in sweats or my gardening clothes,
Right.
It's like we grew up in that, yeah.
But sweats these days too are $90 to $120, and things that we would be wearing in yoga class, right? Or going to the gym. They're not your typical sweats that we had back back in the day.
Yeah, their velvet sweats are nice, yeah.
Right, yes.
So before we get too far away from you being a policewoman, and I skipped this question, for women who are interested in getting in law enforcement, do you have advice for them? Any recommendation? And is any age too late for women to get in? I guess that would be another question too, to get into law enforcement.
I honestly do not know what the criteria is right now. I do know that we are, many departments all over the place, especially with San Jose. There is a lack of police officer and lack of safety on our streets. And I feel so much for these officers out there because they don't have the support that they need. When I started, there was over 2,000 officers. And we are down now to, I think, 800.
900, 800, yeah.
Yeah, and
890.
Maybe 450 on the streets. Please don't quote me on the exact number.
Right, well, there was just a big article that came out that some of them are working so much, they don't actually have time to go home, so they're sleeping in their trailers in the parking lot.
Correct.
And they're doing 16-hour days, they get a couple hours sleep, and then have to go back and do it again.
And that's an officer safety issue as well, because we all need sleep. We're all sleep deprived no matter what we have going on in life. I need my 8 hours.
I am I'm not going to use the word when I don't have enough sleep.
Right, and I suffer from insomnia really bad from other, health issues that I've encountered. And it's very difficult. And it's also difficult knowing what's happening in the world today just with police officers, that people are just shooting everybody.
Right, when we grew up, you had to respect the officer and you were afraid of the officer. You would never talk back, yes sir, no sir. And now it's like, whatever, so.
The uniform and the badge is a sign of respect. They worked for that. However, the person behind that uniform and badge should also be respectful to whoever they talk to. That is another program I've developed over time, and dealing with so many people is really your approach and how you approach a situation will determine the outcome of whatever situation you have at hand. And that's in life in general. And, some officers have different approaches. You hear the stories of bad cop, good cop. And what I try to do throughout my career and throughout my life is just be consistent. And no matter who I'm talking with, no matter who I'm dealing with, I tell my boys every day, when you tell the truth, you have nothing to remember. And just be consistent. Don't give people the opportunity to say something bad about you if you're always telling the truth.
So, cancer, and you say it's a gift, and you have a talk that's a life of triumph and how I took my power back, and I'm not going to go into the details of that. Tell us about this, and tell us about the cancer and why you call it a gift. I love that you call it a gift, and
it gives me chills.
I wake up every morning, and my father was killed by a drunk driver. I wake up every morning, and every day I wake up with my eyes, I'm here again, and I'm 50, he was in his 40s, like early 40s. So it's a gift to be here. So it's incredible that you say it's a gift, that you're, yeah.
It's a gift, and there are many reasons why I say it's a gift, and people think I'm crazy. Living as, working with the DA's office, I was undercover. People didn't know I was, a police officer investigating different things. And I had a way of talking to people, and again, my approach. So I was often able to get people to tell me things that many other people were maybe not able to get. I have a way of putting people at ease and comfort, very much like you do. It's your approach and how you approach things. With cancer, I was injured at work because I was a defensive tactics instructor. And that brings in my safety and why I want to teach others how to be safe. But I was injured on the job, and my right side went numb. I went out on disability, and within a month, I had found a lump on my breast, on my right side.
And meanwhile, you were also going through a divorce at that time?
I had already been, it was all, no, because in 2012, I was diagnosed. So I was injured at work March 15th, and I was diagnosed with cancer April 17th of 2012. My divorce had happened in 2008, so it had been.
But a lot of things happened in a relatively short time.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. The black cloud came in quickly and poured. And so with all that adversity that you're going through, you don't know which way do you look. And so I often ran to the ocean as my peaceful place, my peace of being unplugged. I am not a good surfer. I want to be a great surfer one day, but I would get my board and I would just paddle out and be unplugged from everybody. And so in doing that, I was out in the, sorry, I just lost my train of thought here. I was going out into the ocean, you know, finding my peace and solitude, and I realized after I found the lump that, okay, I need to embrace a new wave and embrace this diagnosis of cancer as something bad has happened. It's negative, but it's going to allow me to see all the good things that I never got to see before. And I get to embrace waves that I would have never been able to ride before. And meeting the people along the way and in this journey, it's been tough. I have been in fetal position, crawled up in the dark, praying I don't wake up the next day. But I have a purpose, and I found my purpose.
You have 2 children, which
I have
is
2
a great
amazing boys. That's right.
Yeah.
And when you tell your children you have cancer, and one looks up at you and says, "Mom, who's going to take care of me when you die?" That is pretty profound. And I wasn't thinking about death. I was just thinking about, you know, what are we going to do next?
So tell me about this. I'm holding something up here, so we don't forget to do this, because we have about 15 minutes left.
So this is Kids Embracing Hope. This is a foundation that I've been trying to get off the ground for a while now. These are my boys, a picture of my boys, and I in the middle that James D. Leon took, and he also designed the clothes that we're wearing. Clothing brand I started, and it starts
off. And the clothing brand is?
It's called Cowgirl Surf, and that's
Cowgirl Surf, okay.
With a Z. And I was asked what if I had one last wish, what would I want? And I said I want to leave my children something. And going through cancer, having 11 surgeries I'm at so far, I have stories that go beyond belief of the things that have happened during all these surgeries. There was no one ever there for my boys. And so we started journaling, and I have a book to be published for them that will help other people going through it, because no one ever said, "Trish, how are your boys? How are they dealing with this?" And they had no one to talk to.
And it's hard for people, you know, the kids, it's hard for them when their parent gets sick or somebody dies. For the kids, they don't know how to communicate.
Right.
So it's
and
important.
they also, a lot of kids these days don't write. And so to me, it was very important that they got a pen and paper and wrote out their thoughts.
And journaled on what
and
was going
so
on
we journaled, and we journaled a lot. And they have now turned in memoirs to the school. They both go to Archbishop Mitty, and I've had teachers come to me and say, "Do you know what your kids wrote?" And it blows you away because it's so raw.
And then, okay, so this is also a fundraiser, right?
So, so Kids Embracing Hope, we have teamed up with Brighton Collectibles at Valley Fair. This is our 3rd year in a row.
Okay. So your 3rd year for this, for the fundraiser for the kids.
Kids Embracing Hope. So the jewelry and accessories that Brighton Collectibles sells, there's over 200 stores, but ours that partnered with us this year is the Valley Fair store again.
Okay.
Here in San Jose, and the kickoff is September 29th, and then it will run through October 31st. And every time there is a bracelet sold, the Power of Pink, there's many accessories, and there'll be 3 bracelets this year.
I can't wait to go check it
that
out.
Are sold, and $10 for every bracelet will go towards Kids Embracing Hope Fund.
That's awesome. So we got to get the word out for that.
Yes, we do. Power of Pink at Brighton.
So something else happened to you when you were going through all this, and do you want to talk about that? What happened to you next?
Well, it actually happened prior to cancer. Okay. I have a term of, I don't want to be a victim. Yeah. I want to help victims be victorious. And something very similar to what I was working with, sexual assault victims, did occur, and I took back my power and I want to help other women do the same thing. And I teach classes on how to do that.
How I Took Back My Power is the
title
program.
Is that title of that program? Yeah, How I Took My Power Back, and teaching and demonstrating and making you aware of what is around you, because so much of the time we are like this,
Right.
texting, talking, you're walking and you're texting, you're sitting in your car, you're at the bank,
Right.
and you don't have any idea what is going on around you. It blows my mind how oblivious people are because of this little device.
Right.
And this little device can be our savior to call somebody, but it also could be the death of you if you're not paying attention, and someone can obviously hurt you.
I'm going to read the
same time.
statistics. I looked up on the web because I was curious. That's why I have a show, right? I'm curious. It used to be 8 out of 10 women were affected by sexual assault in their lifetime at least once. So now I think those statistics have gone up, and there's a website people can go to. Let's pull up the next slide. It says every 109 seconds Americans are sexually assaulted, and every 8 minutes that's a child. And so they can go to this RAINN website to see a ton of statistics on there. It affects every race of women, social economic status, where they live in the world. Are we better off than we were in the 50s? I don't know. Let's pull that down. This is very powerful what you're doing to help women. I think it's just amazing. And thank you. If nobody else has said it lately, thank you for what you're doing, that you're sharing your story, you're getting out there, you're helping. And I think it's gone up a little bit in the Bay Area as well.
It is happening like you said, every minute. It is happening. And it's not just women, it's also men.
Right.
It's also young
and
boys.
Children, as the slide just, the statistics.
Yes, there is children. And it becomes the norm often, and people don't speak out, and they hold on to their silence. And that is what I'd like to help teach people, is to break your silence and stop the cycle. Because when you have your power, you have a lot.
So let's pull up the slides of you and training some women. This is the first one here. Tell us about this.
So I sponsor Miss Rodeo USA, and I have been a keynote speaker with them. And this is a 3-day clinic we did in Oklahoma City.
Let's pull up another slide really quick
last year. So these are all the queens from all different states, and I am, if you can see, one of the gal that I'm about to show a takedown to is holding her cell phone.
Next slide.
So I asked her just to please walk, and like you're texting.
Right.
And within seconds, I had her down on the ground. However, what a slide you don't see is I allowed them to do the same thing to me. So it's just a couple tricks,
right,
of how to. One of my programs is called DISARM. How to disarm yourself from any oncoming threat coming towards you. And it's
like today. We only have about 5 minutes left, but
you had an experience today.
Today I was just trying to run my dog before the thing, and dog on leash, and some dog and a pit bull came up and attacked my dog. She's got puncture holes. She's in surgery right now. So and I do have mace, but it was in my purse, and I was trying to get the dog off, and luckily, it wasn't a worse situation. But it's the self-defense thing is so important. It's
so important, and it's vital right now. Every time you turn on the news, the first half hour of the news is violence. The colleges, girls are, you have a drink or not a drink. Who cares? Whether you're conscious or unconscious, it does not matter. Nothing should be taken from a woman, a man, anybody. And that, I'm on a crusade, and I will help people get their power back. And if I have to, help teach self-defense classes, share my stories, and share my life experiences. And every day it's a life lesson, and every day, cancer is a gift, because I have an opportunity every day to help change someone's life. And that's what I want to do.
So really quickly, pull up the last slide. We've got 3 minutes left. I like to ask every guest, is there something that the audience can help you with, that the community can help you with? Oh, this is not the last slide. This is a slide that you gave us. I love this. The struggle you're in today is developing strength for you tomorrow, and you're so strong. Let's pull up the last, I think it's the last slide now, right? Yep. So community, what can the community do for you? Let's pull that down.
The community, number one, our first event coming up with Power of Pink can go to Valley Fair.
And people can go to your website probably to find that information, and then we can post it as well too.
Yes, I just received this morning, and so I haven't updated up on
So
my
we'll have to take a picture
website.
and put it up, yeah.
Yes, but on my Facebook, you can follow me on my Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, and that will all be on there, as well as, you know, I am available to come to different women empowerment groups, companies. There's no level it should stop at, from an individual level to C-level employees. Sexual assault doesn't discriminate. Cancer does not discriminate. And life experiences that happen to us don't discriminate. But if we're ready for them and we have the awareness and the knowledge, we can be proactive and make a difference.
Is there any other final thoughts? We've got about a minute left that you want to tell the audience, or any other thing that you want to cover that we didn't cover?
I want to thank you, Heather, for having me on the show. I greatly appreciate it. And every day I look back at not what I don't have, but what I do have, and I'm so thankful. There was, like I said, there were times where I didn't know if I was going to make it after 11 surgeries. And my mom was my angel, my boys. And, you know, I have a purpose, and that is to speak in front of crowds and, you know, just to spread the word that the more people I can reach, the better off I am, and the more people I've touched. That's a gift.
Well, thank you so much. Thank
you
you to the audience for following us on Twitter, on Facebook, SVTAGS, and www.svtags.org. We'll post some more information up on Twitter, Facebook, etc. And make this a great week by conserving, reusing, and rethinking the way you choose to live here in Silicon Valley and beyond. Make this a great SVTAGS week. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.